Hey, and welcome back.
Yeah. Ay. Yeah. Ay. Yeah. Boys. Yeah. Holla. We them boys. Holla. We them boys. Holla. We making noise. Holla. We them boys. We them boys.
It's time to get into those old West brackets. All right, we're going to start off with the number 1 seed, George Johnson, a.k.a. Trey.
My man
Woo.
Trey. So
Man,
again,
let's talk about George. Well, I think we did a big story about George Johnson, so I'm not going to talk much about him, more about him. But
go check
if
out
I
our
had to
YouTube
say,
channel.
if I had to say, he definitely, in my view, would easily walk his way to the Final Four. But going up against Jip,
My man
JP DeFranco.
JP
But I'm
DeFranco.
gonna say on George. George played defense, offense, talked more trash, rebounded, you name it. George did it.
Coach, he's still doing it. And our group text the other day, it was 56 messages, and all of them was from George. He's still doing it, getting under these guys' skin, man. I love this kid, man. He's like a son to me. Love him to death.
He especially likes to pick on Damo. And I love it. I love it.
Loves it.
But I'm easily. Let me go ahead and put the bracket back up.
Oh, yeah, good call. Now we're down to the west side. And then while you're putting that up, Coach, I'll talk about JP DeFranco. JP DeFranco transferred to Wakefield from Yorktown. And
Yorktown.
yes, sir. And became a vital member of the Wakefield basketball team. He was a part of the regional championship team, a guy that really knew his role with the team. He was an ultimate team player. And because of that, the teammates and the guys in the locker room really, my fault, I couldn't pull you back. There we go. Really took to him. He was one of the best teammates we've probably coached at Wakefield. Did a great job. He shot the ball really well from the three-point line. The guys found him, and he found his teammates. But, again, the things he did in the locker room and the confidence that he gave was always the first off the bench to give a guy a high five. Just a great team player.
True team player.
True team player. And unfortunately, he just got a bad draw here against
a bad draw
against one of the top in Wakefield history. So with that said, JP, as we call him, Jip, we appreciate everything you've done for the Wakefield basketball program. And again, another guy that is still doing. He's already graduated with his master's, and Jip is a golf coach at Wakefield, and still helping out around the school and giving back to Wakefield, man. So all these guys, I love the fact that they're still doing that. But George Johnson will move on in the West bracket. All right, so moving on. Next down in the West, we're looking at that number 8-9 seed.
Could go either way. Could be an 8, could be a 9.
9 seed, here we go. I think we're talking about, looking on the screen, Corey Aldrich and Brad Beck. Who do I got? Who you got, Coach? I mean, not who you picking, but talking about.
Yeah, I'll talk about Corey Aldrich real quick.
Okay.
3-year player, varsity player. Actually, 4-year player. Well, did he play his freshman year?
Yes, he did.
He played spot moments.
Remember, we only had 3 freshmen to ever play varsity, and he played some minutes as a freshman, but he was, on varsity his whole career.
Right, but I'm saying 3-year starter.
Oh yeah.
Can I say that?
Correct.
3-year starter.
Yes.
Offensive minded. I'm keeping it real. He could score. He played okay defense. He shared the ball a little bit. He was tough.
Buck, I think. Go ahead.
As a sophomore, as a sophomore to a junior year, I almost thought the torch was going to be passed to Corey at one point.
Yeah. Well, I say when we first saw Corey Moore Corey Aldrich in the 8th grade at Gunston, I thought he was a grown man. He had a high school body. No, he was at was he at TJ?
TJ. I'm
Yeah,
going
I'm
to
sorry,
TJ.
TJ. I'm thinking about Justin Glenn. He had a grown man body in 8th grade, and that was one of the reasons. And his skill set was that was one of the reasons why he was one of the first guys that we brought up as a freshman on varsity. Yeah, so his skill set, I think if he would have really hit that weight room a little bit more and got himself in better condition, I really think he could have had a better career. But for his time at Wakefield, I mean, he was the face of the program for a while, and like you said, I thought he was gonna pass that torch on to him. But he did some good stuff for us, at his time there. And so he's going up in this round against one of our favorite guys. On and off the court, who just happens to be, like I said, one of our favorite guys, Brad Beck. There was a story real quick, Buck, I'll try to get into it fast, that, we got the job at Wakefield and he wasn't going to play anymore.
Play basketball. He didn't like the new coach.
This guy was a 3-sport athlete. He was golf, baseball, and basketball. And I hadn't seen a guy pitch in baseball like this guy, left-hand pitcher, in a long time, till George Johnson came along and started pitching as well too. But this kid, could he pitch? But we worked that out from day one. He said, Coach, that's a rumor. I'm coming out and playing for you. He was our first captain on our first team ever, and deservingly so. And as you see, as time has gone on, he got drafted by the Anaheim Angels after playing JUCO baseball. Played in their farm leagues for about 6 years. And this guy, we've always stayed in contact. When we actually both went to his wedding, you drove, I flew to Georgia.
Absolutely.
To be there for his wedding, man. And these are the type of relationships that we love with our players, that we're looking forward to when they get older, and doing the things like that. But Brad Beck is actually coaching girls high school basketball, and we talk often about the things that he's doing and trying to do with his girls program. He at Dalton High School in Georgia. He's leaving an impact, man. And this was a guy who hated going to school when he was in high school.
Students enter Harvard with a variety of goals.
Excuse me. Are we in the right place? Anyone? You? Anyone? You?
As I was saying, Harvard isn't for everyone.
And he went back to school and finished up and did everything. Now he's teaching at the school. I couldn't be more proud of Brad Beck and the thing he's doing for Dalton High School out there in Georgia.
I'm scrolling back on the list. I think everybody on that list almost hated going to school, except for JP DeFranco.
You ain't lying about that. You ain't lying. But with that said, I think, Coach, we got to come to a decision of Corey Aldrich and Brad Beck. And
body of work, 4 years varsity, 3 years starter. I'm leaning towards Corey Aldrich. Not only because
body of work.
Not only because I had but body of work.
Body of work. And you're talking about a 4-year guy versus a 1-year guy for us who, again, helped lay the foundation for the things that we wanted to do with Brad Beck. So, without Brad Beck, there would be no Corey Aldrich and some of these other guys. So, Brad Beck,
I agree.
We still are following your career, my man, and don't take this personal. We love you. Keep tweeting me. Keep calling me, my man. So, my man, B. Beck, that's our guy, man. And also, we still see mom and pops up at Ocean City in the summertime too. So, that's our family right there, man. So,
the Beck.
All right, so we moving on now to that 5-12 game, which you guys know, March Madness 5-12 game is always tricky. But I don't think there's any tricks right here.
There's no tricks right here. I'm hands down going to lay this bet down. It's the second person who started the and one. Let everybody know he was first. This guy was first. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Had more and one fouls in his career than anyone out there. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So I'm gonna go hands down. I'm not even gonna talk about it. Ty Bill.
I'll give my man a little bit of love in case somebody's watching from his family. Robel Ghetto could score in bunches. He could shoot the three. He could put it on the floor a little bit. He just came along at a different time when we were having a couple down years. But could he play? Yes. He started for us. But you going up against the Billy Goat, Ty Bill. And some people, been arguing about why is Ty Bill even a 5 seed. So, I got to defend him with that. That's blood, that's family. I love Ty. But again, when we put all the names in the computer, that's how it came out, Ty. That's how it came out.
and not saying that Ty Bill couldn't be a 1, 2, or 3. Basketball back then is different than basketball now.
Absolutely.
So the criteria was all guys in our district, all region, all state, all receiver higher seed.
And Ty missed first team all region by 1 vote. So same vote. But yeah, we're moving on with that one. Ty Bill moves on to the second round with ease. Love you, Bell. But Ty Bill moves on. This next one, coach. I'm just looking on here.
John Ford, Aaron Ford.
Wow.
Ain't
I
no wild.
guess
You must be saying wild because John
I'm thinking about the next
was
round.
probably one of the most skilled players that I've coached.
Ford.
He made it sport. If he had his head in the game, 80% of the time, he'd have been much better.
Gotta get my head in the game.
I agree. And I think if you follow Wakefield basketball in his era, I think everybody saw that because they saw him as a sophomore playing with the big three.
Yeah.
And the big three of George Johnson, Ty Bill, Andrew Allen was the reason that there was a John Ford. Now, John Ford could get it done, but John Ford needed those guys to make him better. When it became John Ford's turn to be the leader, he couldn't do it.
There you go. He couldn't manage it.
No, he couldn't manage. But could he play? Could he put the ball in the hole?
Woo.
Hey, one of the best to do it. But as far as John Ford really needed those guys and needed somebody to be his sidekick. And he really, after George and those guys left as a sophomore, his junior, senior, he didn't have that sidekick. It became his program, and he really couldn't.
He couldn't manage it. That's all.
Couldn't manage it. Couldn't manage it.
Yeah.
Who is he going up against?
Aaron Ford.
Aaron Ford. Go ahead.
You can speak on Aaron. Like I said, Aaron's another good role player.
Great role player. Understood the game. His dad was a high school coach. His dad actually coached Lynn Bias, and that's over at Northwestern High School. Aaron had been around basketball all his life. And then his dad later worked at Kim Moore, and then he coached at Marshall. Was part of the reason why we lost a couple of those games to Marshall because Mr. Fort was a hell of a coach. And so Aaron was a student of the game. His son is a player. His father was a coach.
He had some big shots for us.
These guys pinching his time to step. Come out here and get the ball. I got one thing to say real quick. Aaron, hell of a shot. Way to not give up on us. Way to shoot the ball.
After the buzzer.
Good job. Hey.
Won a couple of
big games he had against us.
I want to say Mount Vernon.
No, Edison. When we hit the shot after the buzzer, but it counted.
Got him! Got him!
Oh, yeah, that was Edison. Okay,
that was Aaron. Yeah, that was Aaron. Aaron hit that shot against Edison to win the game. But, Aaron, we want to thank you for that shot. Thank you for that game. But
we're going to go ahead and move John Ford on to that next level.
John Ford moving on to face Ty Bill in the second round. That's going to be a hell of a matchup. Now, moving on to that 6-11 game. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about that one, Coach.
Yeah.
That 6-11 game.
I might have to flip a coin on that Ty Bill John Ford game.
That's going to be tough. That Ty Bill going to have something to say about that. But moving on to Marquay Walton and Brandon Roseborough. We had a chance to take a look at the YouTube channel because we did extensive talking about these guys. Who you got, Coach? Who you talking about?
I got Marquay Walton.
Okay.
Mr. Three-point man himself.
The volleyball line.
There's not a shot that he wouldn't shoot from anywhere on the court.
There's Davis. He'll kick it out. Three-pointer from Walton. Yeah.
And I would say percentage-wise, I would say 38, 39, 40%.
Well, we talked about that on the YouTube channel. Marquay made 166 three-pointers, and he shot 149.
Right.
So
it's the impact that when he did hit the three, changed the game.
Absolutely.
You know? And I think every coach prepared because they knew they couldn't double Damo. So they had to play Marquay. When they did double Damo was a good enough player to kick it out to Marquay, who was damn near at half court shoot the damn ball. Okay.
So I got Brandon.
You got Brandon.
Let me get Brandon. Brandon Roseboro, our first 2 years, he was earned the starting position as a junior. And you remember, and we had Dietrich, John Gunner, all these guys were fighting for that spot. And again, we came in and we didn't care what they did for. And Brandon Roseboro actually earned that spot. And there was a lot of gripes why Brandon earned that spot. And he was a good man for us and all of that good stuff. And again, Brandon came along in those years where we were really laying down a foundation of what we wanted to do for Wakefield basketball. Appreciate all that Brandon had did for us. And again, I can say, like I said about, there was a Brandon Roseboro. Without the Brandon Roseboro, there is no Marquay Walton, and to have free range to do the things that they. But if I had to select number 6 and 11, my vote is going to go to number 6, Marquay Walton.
No question about it. I got Marquay advanced to the next round.
Did some big things for us. That next matchup, that 3-14 game, and again, if you watch the YouTube channel, we talked about this kid, Chris Warner.
Body of work.
Is in every 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's in 5 of the 6 top categories since 2002, and that's alongside of some names as a Dominique Johnson.
Easily been a 2 seed. Easily could have been a 2 seed.
Easily could have been a 2 seed with his body of work. Chris Warner put in work. Another, the third guy in history of Wakefield under us to make varsity as a freshman, and deservingly so. He should have been a freshman. There were some gripes later that maybe he shouldn't have been on, but if he wouldn't have been on varsity as a freshman, we would have heard it that he should have been on. Why is he on freshman as a freshman? So, as a staff and the kid, we talked to the kid about where he felt comfortable, and he was happy to be learning as a freshman. And if it wasn't for you, Buck, when we're playing that game in Tuscarora, and he was a freshman, and we got in trouble, and I looked on the bench, and you called for Chris to come in the first quarter as a freshman, I looked at you like,
what the hell are you doing?
And you said, he got this. And he went out and scored 12 points, hit some big three-pointers. We were in the triple overtime on Tuscarora, and that's when we knew that this kid had arrived as a freshman on varsity out there playing with the likes of Dang Now, Alan Trinkle, and all those guys, and they were looking for him to find him the ball. So he deservingly should have been on varsity, and he had a great 4-year career at Wakefield. Go ahead, Coach.
Absolutely. I was going to say, just like later on in his career, I just wish he had thought into it.
But Coach, you know what? It's not too many people that are privy to be in the locker room after a long state game or whatever it may be. And Chris, the senior, all the seniors, time to talk. He did that. He said that. He said, I wish, and he told the guys he said, buy into the program. Just buy into the program and good things to happen. Don't be selfish or whatever. And so we respected Chris Moore for acknowledging that and trying to get them to understand to buy into the program and good things to happen. So appreciate what. Move on to Charles Williams. Charles Williams was a guard that played for us. Guard.
Shot the ball well. Charles shot the ball well.
He did shoot really well for us, and actually went on to play D3 ball.
Yeah, spot minute guy. Got in when he did. He played well. I believe that's why he came in as the 14th seed.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some body of work that he did do, and then there's by looking at the list that we spit into the computer. Yeah, he came out as the 14th seed.
Yeah.
So once again, by the body of work, I'm going to go with number 3, Chris Moore.
Chris Moore moves on to the second round. And now we're getting close down to the last 2 picks here down in the West. We're looking at Thomas Taylor versus Corey Levenberry.
Hey, love.
Hey, love.
Hey, love. Ain't that your name? Hey, love. Corey Levenberry. Hey, love.
Monroe Street's finest.
Monroe. Yes, sir.
So talking about these guys, I'll take Thomas Taylor real quick. Thomas Taylor.
Let me take Thomas Taylor.
Okay,
Only because when I know when you start talking about Corey, I know you're gonna add a little extra something to it. You're gonna tell a little story. So let me take Thomas Taylor. Point guard, phenomenal off ball handler. Too much of a ball handler. And many opportunities.
I think that's when you first came up with dribble.
had opportunities where he could lay the ball up and score. Instead, he's still dribbling around. But I think he figured it out his senior year. It became more of a scorer his senior year. Led the team probably in points that year, assists. Hell of a defensive player. He's strapped, played hard. I think he's one of those guys that played the entire game without being tired. So he definitely put in his work his junior and senior year.
He did.
Court.
So, Corey, of course, famously known as the son of Go-Go George.
Love.
Everybody knew, who he was because of his dad. But then he came in and took over that and let everybody know who he was. And, that time along, I believe him and Thomas played together for a little while, and they came along at a good time. Corey actually started to buy into the program his junior and senior year and played tough for us, where he actually even earned himself a position at the Division III level, where he went to Shenandoah to play ball. And Corey right now is he comes back, he subs at Wakefield a lot.
Balake. Where is Balake at?
Good. Those few years they both played in the down years for us, but were good players, really good players, good team players as well too. We had to select one and to see who's moving on. I think that number 7 seed is going to move forward. I got to confirm it with you, but I think number 7 is going to move on over the number seed. Body of work.
Body of work. I totally agree with you. Yep. Totally agree with you. Thomas Taylor.
So, C-Love, we love you, man. Waiting for you to hit a rap album for us. Put Wakefield's name and mention it or something. But at this time, we moving on, and I'll see you back at Wakefield next year subbing, my man. By then, but congratulations, thanks for everything you've done for the program. So now we're down to the 2 versus 15, and this name right here is for Wakefield basketball, Corey Moore. We've been getting messages and blindside messages about why this kid wasn't the number 1 seed, and it was tough. Again, when you put all the stuff in the computer, it just popped out that way. But we know Corey Moore is number 2 on this chart, but he's number 1 in our heart. So he's going up against a guy that he actually played with, and Devon Adams, coach, you notice had more talent. But could not put it together to save his life. But good God, could he play?
Put him in practice, probably top 2 players in practice.
Oh my gosh!
It just didn't translate to the court.
Didn't translate when the referees and the fans came out. And we talked about Corey Moore a lot on our YouTube channel. Hope you guys take a chance to go back and listen to it. But this will be close. Corey Moore will definitely move on to face Thomas Taylor in the next round. So you can scroll up, Coach. I'll let you talk about just say who. We'll get ourselves moving on to the South bracket.
South bracket. So what we're going to do is
stay over to the East. Who's
moving
moving
on the East? You want to do the left side? I mean, you want to go to the second round, or you want to go to the other side and do the first rounds on that side?
I say we're doing all first rounds. Just go to the second round.
Oh, so you want to go to the second round? You don't want me to do any homework, right? So I'm gonna stay with the first round, right?
Yes. So I need you to go back over to the West. There we go. Go down. Go down. All right. I just want to go over who moved on. Who moved on in the West?
Oh, who moved on? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I got you. So in the works, you got the George Johnson versus Corey Aldridge. Ty Bill versus John Ford. Whew.
This is why we need to do our homework. I'm not going to this next round. Next. Okay, go ahead.
Marshall A. Walton versus Chris Warner.
That's a tough one.
Woo. Thomas Taylor versus Corey Moore.
Yes, sir. So there you have it. All right. You can get out of this screen, Buck. All right, there you have it. We have concluded the first round of the West bracket, also the first round of the East bracket. We're about to go and take another break, and we will have the segment 3 coming up of the South and segment 4 of the Midwest brackets. Stay tuned, and just remember, it's April right now, and we know March has its madness, but we're going to have some upsets in April. Holla.
Did he say upset?
I'll leave the dancing to you.
The only thing that be upset is him with his pick. Hey, we went back in 2, and 2, and 2, and 2. Hey, if you need a quick break, look at the score. I believe the Cowboys are up 24-17.
Dallas sucks. Dallas sucks. Dallas sucks.
It's a hell of a game. They even still have Jason Garrett coaching. You know, this is some bullshit.